Welcome guys to another episode of Man United Daily here on the YouTube channel, and in this episode I'm going to do another episode of Match Report where I'm going to be talking about United's latest match against Fulham, taking place yesterday on the 2nd of February 2013 at Craven Cottage in the Barclays Premier League. And as you know, coming into the game, it was a kind of like a very important game in the kind of like this title race, I guess, because it would have gave us the opportunity to go 10 points clear before City play Liverpool on Sunday. So it gave us another opportunity to apply even more pressure to our nearest title rivals, and the Reds took that with both hands and fortunately got all 3 points from the game. It was definitely a much tougher game than the one last week at Old Trafford in the FA Cup, and that was to be expected because Fulham away from home is they don't have the best record in terms of an away team, but at home, buoyed by their home support, they're always going to be a difficult team to break down, and they're always going to hit you on the counter attack. So we needed to be vigilant in kind of like their threat to the match, but again, the Reds played well, and fortunately we got all 3 points, and now we're 10 points clear at the top of the table. So I'll just be talking about the key events during the match, and just talking it from chronological order, if you like. So the first kind of like 5-10 minutes, it was a very frantic pace, both teams counter attacking each other, and it was a great advert for the Premier League. We hit the post about twice, I think, both from Breda Hangelin. Patrice Evra had opportunity and he hit the bar, so it was a very frantic opening. We had those opportunities, sorts a couple times with a really couple great saves, and at our end I think it was John Onorisa had a fantastic volley 30 yards out. David De Gea doing well to tip it over the bar, and then Brian Ruiz, he had an opportunity, and he had got his shot away from just outside the box, I think. Fantastic hit shot. David De Gea, at first I thought he just hit the post, but again, when you see the slow motion, you can see the touch, and John Evans has come out afterwards praising our Spanish shot stopper, because it was a fantastic save, and if Fulham had scored that earlier on, that could have been a totally different match. But again, credit both keepers where it's due, because they kept both of their sides in it, and it was a very competitive game, I think, in the first half. I think we had the lion's share of possession still from Fulham, but with their kind of like pace on the counter attack, especially from Rodallega, you had to be vigilant of that, because in the Premier League anyone can beat anyone on their day, and Fulham looked a lot better on their home patch than they did at Old Trafford, to be fair, from last weekend. And Sir Alex has warned the team not to be complacent, and I think that was a really good performance, and sending out a message to Man City that we're not going to take this lead for granted. And the first half we were unlucky, I suppose, to not be going into the break at in the lead. But Martin Jol would have probably had a different opinion. But I think overall, for the possession we had and the chances we created, we probably would have deserved to had a at least a 1-goal lead. Rooney again hitting a post later on in the half. Fantastic build-up play from Nani, and cleverly to set him up as well. So that was unfortunate on Rooney's part, but again, he's been on fantastic scoring form of late, and that would have gave him a bit of an extra incentive to go out there and get the goal that he deserved. It was a strange situation on the 42nd minute, because as some of you may remember, in Braga, when we played them in the Champions League earlier this season, the lights went out, and the same happened here at Craven Cottage. It's probably the first time I've ever seen this sort of situation happen in the Premier League. But again, the team had to be off for about 10 minutes, and there was about 2.5 minutes to go. Not much else happened really, because it's a bit of a stop-start resume after that break. So going into half time, I think we would probably be a bit disappointed that we weren't at least one goal ahead, but credit to Fulham, who stuck at their task, dug in and prevented us from kind of like almost running right within their defence. So, and they hit us on a couple of counter attack. So we had to remain kind of like kept our concentration up to see out this game, because it was still very much in a balance at the break. And in the second half, it continued much like the beginning, really, where we had the lion's share possession, shipping the balls out to Valencia and Nani. Nani, he done a bit better in this game actually than he has before. So that was a positive, I would say. Nani still is not on top form yet, but again, demonstrating that his form is slowly recovering. Valencia as well, starting the game, didn't have his best game, but again, you can see the little improvement from both wingers that they are making. And it's only a positive sign going into the Champions League match again, Real Madrid, that a few players who's been a bit off form and been much maligned by the press, that they are getting back into their top form, if you like. So slowly and gradually, I think those two wingers will be back. And Ashley Young's still injured, but hopefully in the next few weeks, and he'll probably definitely be back for the Real Madrid game. Fingers crossed. Again, not much else happened really in the second half, apart from good build-up play. We tested Schwarzer a couple of times, but it was very comfortable for him, and on his kind of form last night, he caught everything well. The hair didn't have a lot to do. One particular shot from Retha, he held well. Just before Brian Ruiz came in. De Gea played well yesterday, I have to say. Caught all the balls that came into the box, during high traffic as well. So marking a great improvement. And I think, to be fair, the press has been over exaggerating his kind of like weaknesses. I'm not saying he's perfect by any shape or form, but I think he has, if you compare him now to last season, his kind of like aerial prowess has grown a lot. And I can't kind of like always support him during kind of like mistakes and stuff, because everyone's going to make mistakes and stuff. That's how you learn as a footballer to grow up. So De Gea was having a fantastic game. The back four as well, Rio Ferdinand having a very, very good game as well. John Evans returned for the first time for a couple of weeks and looked strong. You're always going to get an attacking player from Rafael and Patrice Evra, and that kind of like movement and attacking play definitely added another dimension to our play in the second half. And the goal that we got, the crucial goal, was on the 79th minute from Johnny Evans, who kind of like played just a normal long ball. Chicharito, who came on for Valencia, had dragged Senderos under the flight of the ball, meaning that the ball just travelled over him. And Rooney collected it, and very similar to the Ronaldo goal in the 06-07 season, if you guys can remember that far back. Ronaldo collected from the similar situation, similar finish, curling it around the defender, beating a goalkeeper, and Rooney, fantastic finish in front of Roy Hodgson as well. Mark a very similar goal, but hopefully it will be as significant as it did in that season when we didn't play, when we didn't have a break in the deadlock earlier on in the game, but again we found some way to win it, and that's all it matters at this stage of the season. It's still a few months out from the finish, but again, when you are a bit unlucky, I guess, in front of goal, or if the keeper is having a fantastic game, you just need to find a chance in the game and then take it with both hands. And fortunately for us, Wayne Rooney stepped up to the mark and took it, with a composure and deadly accuracy. So it was a fantastic finish. And after that, it was hell and scatter really, because Fulham, all credit to them, brought on their new signing, Erby Manuelson from AC Milan. He played well, adding a bit and injecting a bit of energy into the midfield. And we had to scramble towards the finish line. Rafael on the 77th minute, just before the Rooney goal, he had to clear off the line, and then Van Persie later on again had to clear off another chance off the line. So that was a gritty, determined win for the Reds, and I have to say, it was, I don't think it was well deserved, and a bit unlucky on Fulham, I guess, because of how well they played during the match. But again, this is what champions do when they're not playing at their, at the highs on or the best levels. They're always going to grind out results when it comes, to the business end of the season. And with the 3 points, that makes us 10 points clear now of Man City, and they're going to be playing Liverpool in over 3 hours time here in the UK, and it's going to be a fantastic game, I think, and hopefully, and it's probably weird for a lot of United fans to cheer on Liverpool, but I have my fingers crossed, toes crossed, everything crossed for a Liverpool win or even a draw. It would be a fantastic result, and that gives us a commanding lead going to the supposed business end of the season, where we come very strong. So 10 points clear. Good performance from the team. Van Persie, bit of a disaster now, isn't he? Hasn't scored in two games now, so we probably need to be worried about him. By the way, I'm just joking. So Robin Van Persie, again, fantastic movement, fantastic link-up play, but just a bit unlucky with some of his chances and finishing, I guess. Don't worry though, he'll probably be, by me saying this, he'll probably score a hat-trick in the next game, and fingers crossed that he does that. So 10 points clear. My man of the match would have been David De Gea for his two fantastic saves from John Arisa and Brian Ruiz. His overall display was a much improvement on the performance of the past two games, and so that would be my man of the match, closely followed by Wayne Rooney, who's he's a fierce competitor, Wayne Rooney, and you always gonna have a chance when you have fantastic talent on your team, but you need that drive and determination from that British kind of like hero, if you like, and Wayne Rooney was that man yesterday. So 10 points clear, cannot ask for much more. And what do you guys think of that game? Who was your man of the match? What was your general impression of the match itself? So please leave your comments below on this video, and thanks for watching, guys. If you like the channel, please rate, comment and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at ManUnitedDaily, or you can visit the website at ManUnitedDaily.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.